Hello, Dr. Wolgast. Welcome back to Deep Into Sleep podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, it's been for so many years, and
I
I'm
know.
so excited that you have your new book out called Gold Medal Sleep. Will be published in this year, 2026, in July. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you very much. I'm super excited, and I'm excited to be here to talk about it too.
I want to start with what inspired you of writing this book. I think you shared a little bit about your childhood and your own sleep struggles when you were young. Can you share with our audience what this journey looked like, how that connect you into this career path and be into sleep and this lead to this book?
And truly, this is the reason why I talk to anybody about sleep ever. But the book definitely started from me growing up with a very deviated septum, meaning I could not breathe through my nose at all throughout my entire childhood. And as I got into my teenage years, that meant I had incredible snoring. I essentially was living with obstructive sleep apnea as a teenager, which in the 1970s and 1980s, no one was curious about or looking for. And I was a very thin, tall, I didn't look like someone with apnea. And I got, unfortunately, hit in the jaw, but that got me lucky enough to get to an ear, nose, throat doctor's office who said, your jaw is fine, but how do you breathe through your nose? And I said, I never have. And I was 17 or 18 at the time, had surgery to correct the septum. And I quickly realized once that healed how much better I felt. I wasn't catching every cold. I wasn't catching every virus. I didn't get sick half the year or take antibiotics like 5 times a year. I could stay awake in class. I could talk to my friends. I could hang out at night. I could stay awake driving, which, as a 17-year-old, most people don't have to think about staying awake during a red light. So this transition from someone who had terrible sleep his whole childhood to someone who suddenly was rested and curious and alert and like realizing the power of sleep at this time of my life, which was, really important. I just set foot on campus for my undergraduate college, made me extremely curious about what sleep is, how it works. And after my second year in college, this is where it transitions to the book too. I started working at a backpacking ranch, and I was a backpacking guide. At that time, I was sleeping great. And once I took people out into the woods and we were hiking and backpacking, the first night was never great. The second night was usually better, but by the third night, everyone was exhausted. They were sleeping great. No one was ever complaining about sleep. And I was not. I was just curious about sleep at that time. But fast forward, and I've been in practice for 14 years now doing sleep, primarily insomnia work and nightmare work treatment. And I started to reflect on a lot of the feedback and the ideas I was giving people to how to change their day-to-day habits and lifestyle really resembled getting back into living more in tune with nature. Go outside more, exercise during the day, don't be on screens and all these things late at night. And when I had a conversation with a colleague who does what we do and talking about, we were at a conference and the joke is, if everybody just sent their clients to go camping, backpacking for a week, we wouldn't have any clients anymore because everyone's insomnia would go away. It's not that simple, but boy, does it clear up a lot of the noise that comes along with not sleeping well. So this idea of camping, sleeping well, and circadian rhythms and how they really interact nicely became sort of the kernel of this book. So that's the whole story. Gold Medal Sleep is the name because my mom told me, not everybody likes camping, Brad, so don't put that on your front cover. But everybody understands Gold Medal Sleep. So gold medal meaning, there's a bronze, there's a silver, there's a gold. You pick your own path, how hard you want to try or how much you want to think about this. It's all good. It's all medaling, right? If you're working to get better at sleep, it's going to get you better. In the book, I set out different ways to approach a lot of different activities related to circadian health. And I give you like a plan for a bronze and plan for a silver and a plan for a gold. And every day you can choose your own adventure.
You mentioned a lot of great points. I really like the idea. It's not the gold medal, it's the only goal for us. I like how you categorize that as free choice and your option where you are right now, what you think you are capable or willing to do.
Right.
And then think about things as more layered. Each step, each layer is meaningful and it can be helpful. I think hopefully that make a lot of people feel relieved. Or I'm not pursuing this ideal sleep or this perfect image, right?
Exactly. Yes. I think Michael Grandner in our field, he likes to say that the enemy of sleep isn't wakefulness or being awake. The enemy is effort. So while we're saying this, and like, yes, I have plans for silver, gold, and bronze, the goal isn't to try very hard and absolutely get the gold on everything. The goal, like you were saying, is it's really like I want people to approach this with a letting go kind of process and then deciding what they want to aim for. So while bronze, silver, and gold sounds like striving and it sounds like trying hard, not in sleep. With sleep, the harder we try, the further we can push sleep away. So it's really about setting your expectations and what you want to try. Is that here, here, or here? And maybe tonight it's here, but this weekend it's here. It depends on what's going on today and what's going on with your life. So it's a flexible approach, it's a choose your own adventure approach, and it's very much you need to know you and what you're dealing with and living with right now so that you can do what's best for you tonight and tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm thinking this camping, why camping works so much as you talk about this letting go. Because when we are in this busy world, right? And I see so many patients coming in to see a sleep doctor. They just want to pursue a goal that they learned from the media, from everywhere. They're like, if they always sleep for 6 hours, they still want to aim for 8 hours, even though that's never happened in their life. And I'm wondering this philosophy of camping when you are under the sky, under the star, in the dark, it's quiet, and it may give us a different sense of who I am, what goal makes sense to me, how I can accept myself. I don't know how, like in your mind, what makes camping so special to help people sleep.
I love that. I love that question. I can't wait to answer this. No one's ever asked it that way before. To me, and the more I thought about this and the more I wrote about this and did some research and background on this, the more I realized that the reason camping is so special and different is because, and this is going to sound obvious when I say it, humans for the last 10,000 or 500,000 years, basically that's how we lived every day. So our brains and our bodies and all of the animals and plants around us have been built to essentially live outside most of the time. Camping is about as close in our modern world as we get to living outside most of the time. I think in the United States, we have gone in the last 110, 120 years from an average for adults of spending 4 to 6 hours outdoors to actually spending more like 30 minutes to an hour outdoors. Our brains are built to use the sun to understand when we're to be awake and when we're to be settling down and getting ready for rest. There are several systems that are complicated and beautifully built in our bodies to accomplish that, and we're not letting them. In our modern world, I'm in an office right now that's in the basement. I have a lovely window, which I'm really close to all the time. But we do this a lot. We isolate ourselves from what's outside, from trees. And I'm just talking about the sun, but there's the wind, there are trees, there are birds, there are animals, there are smells. And our brains are built to use that information to understand where we are in the world, what time of day it is, and what we should be doing, whether we should be hungry, whether we should be relaxing, or whether we should be going to bed. So camping is about as close as we can get to that right now for most of us. Some people do this, but most of us don't. So it's a really useful way to explain to almost anyone now. Like, if you can reflect on your life and your world, the closer you can get to that, the better. And the idea in the book, camping out's great, but we can't all camp out every day. Most of us can't camp out even once or twice a year. But camping in is this idea that I put together in the book as how much of camping out can you bring home with you and to your day-to-day life? Meaning, can you get outside? Can you eat your lunch outside? Can you go home at the end of the day and 2 or 3 hours before bed, turn the lights down? Maybe turn the lights off and just use little candle lanterns or battery powered little twinkle lights to enjoy the evening as it settles down, much like every human used to do for the last hundreds of thousands of years, because that's what your brain is expecting. And that's how your brain knows how to use all of the powerful chemicals and systems to help you relax into bed and sleep.
I love how you use camping in, such a simple metaphor to help us understand this important connection between our body and nature, and goes back to our basic biological clock. I know sometimes we always tell people, like, the brain is not a switch. It's not like you're busy working and then you're ready to sleep and boom, close computer, you go to bed, you can sleep. If that's going to happen for some people, maybe with sleep apnea.
Yes, if you're tired enough, if you're exhausted, maybe. But most
people in the dark, their eyes are closed, their minds start flying around. So this, camping in concept is so important and so interesting. And I like how you use examples, case studies in your book, quotes, and certain very interesting conversation. I was like reading and laughing. This, to see this client, what? You want me to do this? It's just bring me back to real life. Yes, sometimes when we help people to sleep better in a way they never think about, or it's totally opposite than what they're used to. It's a shocking
opposite of what
method.
They think.
Yeah,
that's right. What you were saying reminded me of several clients, but one in particular who, when I said, how much time are you willing to use before bed to put your phone away and screens off and all that? And you could see her mind blow up. And she was like, who do you think I am? Like, I think you're someone looking to make your sleep better. She's like, my whole life is on my phone. Not only is it my friends and social media, but my bank's on here, my classes are on here, my grades. I think, okay, but if your sleep is important enough to you that we're here and we're talking, you came and you're looking for help, let's think about how to disengage, because that last half hour or 2 hours before bed, you can catch up on that information tomorrow morning in probably a lot less time than it's going to take you to pay attention to it for the next 2 hours. And the concept another idea that I like to use with clients is freewheeling. And I noticed this with college students, clients that I worked with. It was only in the last probably 5, 6, 7 years that I heard them again and again and again. In a row, everyone was saying, I go to bed, I turn everything off, and then my mind like fires up and it gets really rolling, and I can't go to sleep, but I also can't turn my mind down, that's what you were saying that reminded me. And it made me think of, if you look at any group of people standing around, if they're waiting in line, what are they doing? They're on their phones, like whatever. There is no sort of freewheeling downtime where your brain is just sort of like, what I want to think about now. And if you don't allow your brain some of that freewheeling time during the day, it will take it and it will use that time that it's allowed. And that time is guaranteed when you turn off the lights and you try to go to sleep. Suddenly there's nothing for your brain to do, and it's going to start spiraling out all of these ideas it's had all day and thoughts and random worries and things like that. So I call it freewheeling, like if you're on a bike and you let the bike just stop pedaling and it just, you need to let that sort of wind out during the course of the day is best. But if you don't, at least before you go to bed, before you get in bed, let your brain sort of undo what it's been doing all day, unwind, freewheel, so that you can get into bed and like let your brain relax and settle.
Yeah. And it's interesting nowadays, even that needs willpower to do.
Yes. So college students, the younger the person is, the harder that request is, the less likely they're going to say, okay, I'll try it. When I work with a 50, 60-year-old, they're like, sure, I get it. I'm happy to try that because I remember the old days when we didn't have this. But yeah, the 20-somethings don't even remember that.
Right. They're going to fight really hard. Do you have another way? Right. No,
Yeah,
this
there's
is not
be
possible.
another way.
I glued to my
Right.
phone.
Yeah, it's my life. Everything's here. So that's a big one for me. And I spend a lot of time talking about that with people.
Right. And that make me think this busy mind, our brain constantly getting information. And nowadays a lot of short videos, right? You keep on getting new stimuli in your brain. And plus work study can be so exhausted. I have a lot of people ask me, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, but should I go to bed? But once I go to bed, it seems like I cannot really sleep. Do I have insomnia?
Right.
What do you think about this?
This is such like we get this all the time, don't we? I'm exhausted all day. And I even saw a little meme that was like, I just want to be as tired when I go to bed as I feel all day at work. And we talk in very specific words. So when you and I say sleepy, we mean you're about to fall asleep. And when we say sleepy, we don't mean tired and we don't mean exhausted, because those things mean different things. And I think we hear exhausted a lot, and there are a lot of exhausted people, and I agree. And when I hear that from anybody, from a client, but even someone that I'm talking to or sitting with at the airport or at a post office, exhausted to me usually means you're overtaxed. Like your brain is working too hard and you haven't given it downtime to sort of settle. You may not be sleepy. If you settle your mind and you give yourself a chance to relax, you may feel great. That may perk you back up. You don't know, though, until you allow it. So, yes, exhaustion, not necessarily equal insomnia. And usually there's much more to it with your day-to-day living.
Yeah, that make me think a lot of people tend to blame sleep for their exhaustion or lack of attention, whatever daytime problem they are experiencing. Sometimes I feel like poor sleep, they are just being blamed for so much, a little bit too much.
That's right. And the sleep didn't do anything wrong. Honestly, sometimes it does become, the sleep becomes a problem, but it usually starts with other problems that push sleep away, and then you don't get enough sleep, and now you're tired, and that becomes a cycle. But it usually kicks off with, I was very busy at work, I had a big project, or I was doing a lot of things with my family, or there was a crisis or something like that, and maybe I couldn't sleep for a while, or maybe I pushed sleep away because I needed to finish or do my thing. And now I'm chasing sleep. Now I'm fighting to make sleep happen, which is effort, and effort is the enemy of sleep. So it's not coming back that way. So people like us and what we do, we help people sort of try and remove that effort and engage the acceptance of your body as knowing what it needs and getting the sleep and using the sleep that it needs, and then encouraging our lifestyles and the way we think about sleep and approach it to sort of match that natural experience of sleep is a drive. Let's let your body do what it's supposed to do.
You raise a really great point when you talk about sleep drive, when you talk about all the daytime things and nighttime things. Because I know you mentioned this one concept of night is sleep just a nighttime thing,
Yeah.
or is that a daytime problem, right? You
Right.
mentioned some symptom during the day, but it sounds like there's certain things we do can make sleep better or worse during the day as well. So it may not be
Absolutely.
just happen at night.
So true. And, I'm talking about screens and phones, but it's bigger than that. And truly, and this, many of my clients are like, wait a minute, are you kidding me? Your night of sleep tonight started when you woke up. So as soon as you wake up, you set the stage for how that night coming up is going to go too. Getting out of bed at a consistent time every day is you hear people like us all that this is the number one tip. If you
Yeah.
can do that 7 days a week, you may not ever need to see one of us because that your body understands that. It's a powerful message, especially it'll double down if you then get out of bed at a consistent time and get into sunlight. Get into light within 10 minutes. Spend some time, especially in sunlight. Outdoors, even better, but by a window, pretty darn good. Your brain will recognize the consistency and the light as day starts now, and it will literally there's no clock in your brain that you can look at, but there are many clocks in your brain. Some of them start to count down from that first morning moments when it recognizes you're up and awake and moving. About, it's different brains, different days, but somewhere between 15, 16 hours later, it will say, um, because we started at this time and now it's 15 or 16 hours later, it's time to start settling down. So, literally, there are parts of your brain that are built to help you settle in for sleep based on the very first thing you do that day, which is waking up and getting into light and movement. So, and then it's all day long. The more time you spend outdoors and in sunlight during the day, the easier it is for parts of your brain to understand, ooh, this is the time frame we're in right now. So like a first morning block is great of sunlight, but if you can buffer that with a couple more or like several times of outdoor time in the sunlight during the day, even better. It's hard, you can't overdo it because the sun is really consistent even if it's cloudy, and your brain will understand what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it's an all day kind of thing.
Right, right. Is there any difference people can think about if they're in a place like not much sunshine, or
Right.
the winter time is really long and
Yeah.
cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever people like California people normally can do during daytime.
Yeah. Yeah.
For people in certain area, really hard to do
Right.
part of the year.
Yeah. Miami, Los Angeles, San Antonio, you guys got it. You're good. There's sunlight every day, or at least it's a long day every day. Iceland and Toronto and Juneau, not so much. In December, January, February, it's dark a lot and it takes a long time for the sun to come up. What I recommend to my clients who are in that kind of scenario, or they need to wake up very early for work, and in the winter, they're up at 4 in the morning and the sun doesn't come up for 3.5, 4 hours. Blue lights, which you can get a blue light online for $20, maybe $25. It's a certain amount of lux, LUX, when you want at least 10,000 lux. That will tell your brain that the sun is up, even if it's 4 in the morning and it's dark. And you want to do that consistently each morning, good 15 minutes. Many of them, you turn them on and they will automatically shut off after 15 minutes. And that's enough to signal that sunlight to your brain. So whether you're waking up very early before the sun is even up, or you live in Juneau or Reykjavik or whatever, you can use these kinds of things to help reset your brain and train them. The sun should be up, but I live in Reykjavik, so it's not up for another 4 or 5 hours.
Goes back to the mindset. As we are both
100%.
psychologists, you are psychologists with a lot of experience, right? A lot of time is about shifting the mindset. And I think what you mentioned, I think you covered both intervention after problem start, and prevention before anything goes wrong. And both are important, but I'm curious, how do you think about this?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we see people long down the road who I have insomnia for 10 years, 20 years, or whatever, and I've tried everything. That's when they wind up in our offices. The book, though, is written towards, can we prevent that from ever happening? How can we help you not get to a place where this is now sort of an intractable or a long-standing problem? I really, it's not to go back over the ground here, but it's about re-engaging your body and your brain and your thinking, your ideas with a little bit less modern culture and a little bit more natural world. So taking a walk after dinner around the block, walk your dog an extra time. It's so much better for your mind. It's so much better for your body. It's good for your digestion too. So why not? It helps everything. So de demodernizing your life a little bit and re-engaging with what feels natural to your brain and to your mind. That's what you want to do. If with more prevention of these kinds of things, your mood will be better, your anxiety diminishes, you are more creative, you're better looking if you get more sleep. There's really fun study out of Scandinavia about that. Well designed. Your risk of things like heart disease and diabetes go down. There's so many layers of what is meaningful and helpful with better sleep, and it's about engaging things in a healthier way rather than just, oh, there's a new game on the Xbox I want to buy. Let me spend the next 17 hours trying it out. Maybe spend 2 hours and then go do something outside for a while. It's okay. I'm not here to tell you to like throw everything away and live in a tent. I'm here to tell you live your life, but also re-engage with what's out there that feels natural.
Yeah, that's why I really love your book. And I feel like this is a book you don't have to have insomnia to go to.
No.
It's
Yep.
for everyone, right? It's
Yep.
for everyone who have struggles or not have struggles, but you want to learn more about sleep, you want to improve your sleep, you want to improve your energy, you want to be more productive, because it's all related. And sounds
Yeah.
like I really like your philosophy. You just need to carve out a little bit time, do a little bit adjustment in your life. You don't have to
Right.
dramatically put things upside down. You just
That's
need to
right.
do a little bit tweak here and there to make things better in your life.
Right.
It sounds much easier to do.
That's right. And it should be. I don't want this to be difficult or challenging. I'm glad you mentioned that it's not for just people with insomnia or sleep. It's really for everyone. I wrote it with in mind talking to my grandmother. I wanted it to be relatable to her so that she, who I don't think ever had a sleep disorder, I never asked, but I don't think she ever did. She is passed on now. But I wanted it to be relatable to anyone. So somebody I'm sitting next to at a baseball game or at the bus stop, we could have the same conversation. So it's a conversational book. It's not a research book. There is research mentioned in there, but it's really about, let me talk to you about sleep. Let me talk to you about what we know about why it's hard right now, why so many people struggle with this right now. That's what got delivered. I feel really good about that. I'm excited about it.
I know
Yeah.
earlier you mentioned consistent wake up time, but near the end of the show, I want to ask you if someone budget free just want start with one little step, one little thing to
Yeah.
tweak things to make sleep better, what would your suggestions be?
There's probably three things, and we've been talking about them. The first is picking that consistent wake up time. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I usually wake up at 6 or 6:30, but if some days it's 6:45 and some days it's 5, that's fine. Keep it close though. If you're going 2 or 3 hours, it's harder for your brain. So that consistent wake up time, 7 days a week, and you may never need to meet with someone like me or you. And then once you're up, move around, get to some sunlight. If you can get outside and move around, even better. That's doubling up on the effort. Exercise is great, and I don't mean running a marathon. I mean walk around the block. I mean if you let your dog outside and you have a yard, go out with them. You don't even have to move around that much. Just go outside, walk around a little bit, look at the sky, and then go back in. Give yourself these extra little moments in nature. If you eat your lunch, which I think most of us do, can you eat it outside? If it's raining, can you eat near a window? Little touches like that make a huge difference. And that's like 3 right there. If I could add a 4th, it would be, and this is a big part of camping in, when it's 3 hours before bedtime, 2 hours before bedtime, start turning the lights down. Stop using the overhead lights. Use a little lamps. Closer you get to bedtime, the quieter the lights are, the dimmer the lights are. At my house, we have headlamps that we wear when it's bedtime. Not every night, but from time to time. So if I need to like actually do something, I can see what I'm doing without having a big blast light. So if you hear that, it's circadian rhythm through light and no light and timing. That stuff really pays off.
Wonderful. Yeah, I also want to add one thing. If any of our listeners did any of this, please give yourself some self-appreciation.
Yeah.
Right? Big thumb up to yourself that I take one step forward. I did a little tweak in my schedule, in my life routine to take care of my own sleep, to take care of my own health. That's wonderful.
Yes, it's huge. And pick another one next week. Try something next week and try that out and see what you like. Yeah, I love that. And you're right. These are great things to notice and appreciate. And I just love when I hear people doing this stuff on their own. It makes me really happy.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'm really happy. I also like how flexible you are thinking about your approaching this whole sleep topic. I hear a lot of flexibility. You don't have to do this in this exact way. You can do it this way, do it that way. You can have some wiggle room. That's so important for people to remember. And
it's so true. And
Okay.
people, when they meet with someone like us, they often get worried that they're going to have to follow this exact plan or program or whatever. And what I've found, and I bet you have too, is the more flexible we can be with people, the more likely it's going to work. And that's the approach here, is like, you need to find your own way, and I'll show you, here's some tools to throw in your toolbox. You pick the one you want to use, and you pick how hard you want to use it tonight. So it's all about that.
Yeah. Look forward to the publication of your book, Gold Medal
Coming
Sleep.
soon.
Yeah, July 14th. For all who are listening, remember to go to check out this book.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Wolgast, for coming to the show again and sharing more wisdom with us around sleep.
Absolutely. It was great to be back. It's great to see you. And thank you very much for having me. I love talking about this.
Yeah, look forward to more of your books in the future.
We'll see.